What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of JV Outdoors. We're kind of in between series right now, so I'm going to take this time to button up projects of mine. If you watched my last video or one of my latest videos, I did a little bit of work on building this battery box. Going to seal it up today, but first I need to take some of the hardware off and then get it sanded back up. So we're going to sand this thing and put some kind of a sealer on it. I haven't decided what I wanted to use yet, but we're going to just kind of hang out in the garage today. It's about 30 degrees out and it's snowing a little bit, so been off of the water and doing a little bit of project in the woods. So that's a really neat project coming up for 2020, thanks to my good friend Andy and his wife Christina. So I'd like to thank them as much as I ever can. So until then, obviously it's not 2020 yet now. Today is December 30th, 2019. So we're going to work on our projects a little bit, and let's get started. Now to start, I'm going to remove the latch and then the two handles. I'm going to take the actual light off its bracket and then just let it kind of dangle, since I've already wired that into the box. But I can take the bracket off of the wood itself. So let's get started on that. I need to take this light off first. Just gonna let that dangle there. Take off the other side. The next thing I'll have to do is take the battery out. I don't leave the battery hooked up all the time, so I just push these wires out of the way, get this lifted up out of here. I'm just going to set this aside for now. And again, I'm going to leave that light there and then these wires hooked up. I'm not going to pull any of this off. I might remove this panel, I'm not sure yet. So we're going to get the sanding, get my extension cord out. I'm going to use this Black & Decker palm sander, or orbital palm sander. It's got 120 grit on it right now. So I'm just going to start with 120 grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to move to probably 220 and call it good on that. This thing isn't a showpiece, it's not a piece of furniture. It's going to get banged up, so I'm not too worried about it. So let's get to work. So here I've got it sanded. My main goal was to just get these edges nice and rounded off. So all the edges have nice round curve to them now. No sharp edges. Did the inside of this lip a little bit too, and on each side here and on the underside of this lid here. So next I'm going to wipe it off with this microfiber, or you could use terry cloth, or whatever you want, just to get some of that dust off that you can't really see. I'm pretty happy with it. Normally, if it was anything else, piece of furniture or something, I would use probably at least 220 to 320, but 120 for this, it actually feels pretty good. So I'm going to leave it at that and get some stain on it. So I've gotten this taped up. I just have to trim off. I just take a knife blade and run it along the straight edge. I've also taped the hinges on the back side. Show you what I'm using and I'll explain why I'm using it. I'm going to be using fast dry lacquer and an aerosol spray. Now I have shut the heater off because it is propane with a flame, so we want to play it safe and just shut any open flame off, and opened a window for a little bit of ventilation as well. I went with the lacquer because I've learned that lacquer does not yellow under UV light. So if it sits out in the sun, it might yellow like polyurethane might. This is also in spray form, or polyurethane can be in a spreadable form as well. But I'm going to go with this lacquer. I've used lacquer more lately for any furniture that I do, inside and outside. So I'm going to shake this up good and give it a good spray around. I'll probably only do a couple coats, but I just want to get this wood sealed up. Welcome back, everyone. This guy is dried up pretty good, so I'm going to peel this stuff off and get the hardware put back on. So now I can put my battery back in. I'll bring you over here where you can see this a little bit better. The only thing that I've done differently from the video that I did on making this box is I wired it all up a little bit different, and I'll show you exactly what I did. I didn't go in depth with too much about what I did here. I wanted to be able to shut the box off completely with the box still being hooked up. So as you can see, I just put little eyelets over the negative and the positive terminal on the battery, so I can slip it on and off real easy. But if I were to use this for an extended period of time rather than just showing you what I've done, I would use wing nuts to put that on. So I'm going to put some loom over this and get this cleaned up a little bit. But I have all these heat shrink pieces here, so every connection has been sealed up properly. Could put heat a little bit too much to it, so you see it's burnt a little bit, but that's from the lighter when I did that. But here we have both of our loads on this panel. The only two switches that I'm using right now are the two outside rocker switches, so this one, and then they're ran in series throughout the rest of the box. So our USB, our readout, and then our 12-volt car charger port. Each load wire has an inline fuse that's good for, I believe, 15 amps. So what I was able to do with the help of my brother on this, Austin, was I put an inline fuse in to the actual power to the box. So now I can cut power completely to the panel, and none of this works. So until you turn on that switch, and that'll turn power on to the box. So now I have my readout, which is reading, you have a glare there, so 12.8 volts, our USB, and our car charger port. And then the last switch was my light on the end there, and this worked out good. I went truck camping last weekend, and it came in handy big time. So otherwise, I have this as the last wire in the series. I could wire another switch to it, but I just put a wire nut over it. I'll get some tape around that, but that's pretty much it. So that's my battery box. As most of you know, you can buy these already set up, but I can't justify spending the money on it, so I'm going to just continue building this. I want to put a like a solar panel somewhere here that maybe flips up, so if anybody knows of a good solar panel to use, I would love a little bit of guidance on that. I've never messed with solar before, but really cool project. I appreciate you all watching. I hope this was exciting for you. I really like working with wood and putting stuff together like this. It's a lot of fun. So again, I'm Justin with JB Outdoors. Stay tuned for 2020. We have some really cool stuff coming up, and for all of you that have liked, subscribed, commented, I appreciate every one of you, and we'll see you on the next one.